All right, this is the empty semi truck. So we have a few snacks and some batteries and stuff, but other than that, everything is out from the truck. We still have the auto socks. We've got to figure out what to do with those. They're going to be useless to us now that we are not running super singles, but everyone at Prime does, so should be able to find somebody that needs them. Well, this is it. It was not clickbait. We are 100% leaving Prime. Today is the day that we take the truck back. I'm not going to be able to make the whole trip. It's about 900 miles, but we decided not to bother with trying to get a load because Liz is going to follow me in the rental car, and I'd have to run solo. And I'm not sure what kind of solo load they would be able to get me that had enough time that we could get it there early enough that somebody else could repower it from Springfield. So we're not going to bother. We're just going to kind of eat the fuel cost. It shouldn't be too bad, since Bobtail will probably get in the 10, 11, 12 range for fuel economy. Let's see, where are we even going? Prime. Let's see how many miles it actually is. So, yeah, 935 miles. Whew. It's gonna be a long day. All right, so as you can tell, this is not a Peterbilt 579, and that right there is the Prime headquarters. There's Prime 1. This will be the last time that we're going to be at Prime 1. I'm going to make it my life's goal to never end up back at Prime. They always tout that most of the drivers that quit always come back to them, but we are not going to be one of them. Yeah. Welcome back to the channel. This is Matt and Liz from No Luck Trucking. We may have to change the name of our channel since we are currently not trucking at all. We have no truck. So if you hear some background noise, it's these little guys right here. Little prehistoric dinosaurs running around. But anyways, let me put this back up here. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about the channel growth. We went from 400 subscribers to 2,100 at the time of this recording. So thank you for everybody that wants to join along and watch our journey. I'm sure a lot of people found our channel through Prime or through other Prime drivers, things like that. Even our friend Rich gave us a shout out on his channel, which he does smoking meats and competition barbecue and things like that. Awesome dude. He cooked us a rack of ribs. They were fantastic. His channel is, I always mess it up, it's Rich's River Smokers West Virginia, I believe. Let me double check because I don't want to get it wrong. He's a super cool dude, and everyone should follow him. Rich's River Smokers, West Virginia. I was right, finally. It's a very tough name, sir. Alright, a bunch of mosquitoes and whatnot. Alright, so let's answer the #1 question that we get from people looking to go to Prime. Would we still recommend Prime?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we still think it's very good. We had a different circumstance. Just in the way we wanted to run the truck and the way the Prime wanted us to run the truck, so that's why we ended up leaving. But I still think it's a great company to get your foot in the door and learn, and they'll pay for your CDL and in exchange for 1 year working for them. I mean, some people don't like that. It wasn't a huge deal for us. We stayed there for 2.5 years. So I just bumped the table. All right, so we'd like to make the video about 5 things that Prime did right and 5 things that Prime did wrong, in our opinion. So, first point, what Prime did right. Brand new equipment with APU and inverters. Do you want to talk about your love for the inverters?
Yeah. I mean, just having the ability to even run a microwave on the truck, have a refrigerator. I mean, that can just make a huge difference in your quality of life on the truck. You don't have to eat truck stop food all the time. I mean, it's just huge. Because even if you're just eating ham and cheese sandwiches every day, that's better than going to the truck stop. Yeah, and the APU was really great because we didn't have to idle the truck all the time.
Yeah. And then when we would take home time, we would leave the APU running with nothing else, so it would keep our fridges and freezers running, so we didn't have to take everything off the truck when we went on home time. And it would burn very, very little fuel. It would kick on every few hours to charge up the batteries a little bit, and then that sustained for quite a while. I think the longest we took was like 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
And it burned less than a quarter of a tank. So, I mean, I know everyone complains that the lease is so expensive, you know, mostly from people that have never leased with Prime, but the equipment's brand new. We got a Freightliner with like 180 miles. We had a Peterbilt with 18 miles.
Yeah.
2 Peterbilts with like sub 100 miles. So it was all brand new equipment. Hardly any downtime. We really didn't have much significant breakdown, really, other than the black truck that we ordered. But that was a freak circumstance.
Yeah.
But, second is what a lot of people comment in the comments, saying that the lease is a scam and things like that. But we really disagree. We made a lot of money with the lease program, and it was truly walk away. So in our time with Prime, we have had 4 trucks, and we turned all of them in before the lease was up. So it is truly walk away, and we didn't owe anything for canceling the lease or anything like that.
Yeah.
Man, these mosquitoes are really bad.
And if we had not customized the black truck or the orange truck, we wouldn't have had to put any money down either.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
We weren't doing lease purchase yet. That was supposed to be the next step, but
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can read over the lease contract for yourself and make that decision, but I didn't think it was a scam. We knew what we were paying for, and we knew what they were charging us, and we agreed, and we never had a problem paying it. So, the next point, number 3, is safety was a priority, and they actually followed that. There was several times where we had to shut down in a load while we were hauling a load that was a high value load, so one that had very strict stopping requirements and things like that. And we ran into a big snowstorm in Kansas, and they shut down I-70, and we contacted Prime and told them that we really didn't feel like moving it any further, and they were okay with it.
Yeah.
They just told us to park somewhere safe, well lit, and kind of give them an update in a few hours. So that's exactly what we did. So that right there kind of proved to us that we could stop when we didn't feel comfortable with anything, and nobody like punished us or had a problem with it. They were just like, update us and stay safe.
That was really great.
Yeah, there was I think a time with a tornado that we shut down as well, because kind of felt like the truck was about to go over. So we stopped, and
I remember that.
It went well. Like I said,
until I could not drive anymore.
Exactly. I think we were late for the pickup or the delivery or something like that. But
we were late for the pickup, but they said it was okay.
Yeah, but they were good with it. It wasn't a huge deal.
So that was always nice.
Yeah. So safety is a priority, and a lot of companies say that, but then they don't back it up when you actually need to shut down.
Yeah.
So number 4 is the drop-in hooks. And also, a lot of places directly build customers for things like lumpers or pallet fees and things like that. So there was a lot of times where we didn't have to get a lumper or a comm check for a lumper. We had a lot of drop-in hooks for a while. And then when the workforce started dwindling at warehouses, the drop-in hooks kind of got less and less, which
It's okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge deal. I mean, in this industry, you kind of have to wait, and there's a few times that we did, but it wasn't all that bad. So the biggest thing, number 5, the one reason that we stayed with Prime for so long, and we made it work for so long, is they allowed Liz to be a company driver, and that allowed us to get healthcare benefits, and they were actually really cheap. We had healthcare, we had dental, we had life insurance, we had vision, and we were paying, I don't even know what it was, but anyways, it was
cheap.
It was a lot cheaper than...
It was good insurance for not a lot of money, so...
It was better than marketplace health insurance, and it was pretty cheap, and it was all billed through the settlement. So that was one of the things that kept us at Prime for the longest, is the healthcare option. When you have a married couple, and one is a company driver and one is a lease driver.
You can take home time at the same time. Everything stays the same as if you were 100% a lease truck, but you get cheap benefits.
Yeah, so the benefits were good. All right, so let's get on to probably what all the super truckers in the comments are foaming over, what we think Prime did wrong. So recently, Prime has been overbooked on freight, and for whatever reason, they gave the power to the sales department, they're commission based as well. They gave them more power than our fleet managers, and they would bully our fleet managers into making drivers take certain loads.
Yeah.
They would push them to make us take the loads, and we are not forced to dispatch. At least they give you the illusion that you're not forced to dispatch. So
yeah.
Towards the end, that was a big point of contention. It didn't really feel like we had the power or ability to say no, and that was one of the big reasons why we kind of started looking for other options other than Prime.
Yeah, and if something goes wrong, they always say, well, you had the choice to say no, you're the captain of your ship, but they'll sure try to coerce you into doing things, but then as soon as it goes wrong, you're left holding everything,
you are
and
holding
you're like,
the bag.
are you guys gonna help? And it's just, so I don't fully believe when they say like, oh, you're the captain of the ship, you have the right to say no. So that was kind of a big point of contention, and I was noticing a lot of other team trucks, and even it went down into some solo trucks as well, that they were getting a lot of pushback for saying no to loads, and that should definitely be a basic right that you have in that situation, because you're paying for the truck, the fuel, everything is on you. Nobody is helping you if you have a bad week. So I feel that you should have enough power to at least help your week not be bad. So we'll leave it off with that. We could make an entire video on my feelings on that. Let's see. Sorry, I have to consult the notes. Long notes.
All right. So one of the other really big point of contentions, other than them pressuring you to take loads, is we don't really enjoy running as a full team, like 24/7, burning up the pavement, 10/10, all the time. So we like to run more like a super solo. And if you don't know what that is, it's where both people kind of run their clocks down, and then you sleep stationary, and then you start the whole process over again. Kind of gives us a little bit slower pace. We are essentially about 1.5 drivers, more or less. And that's the way that we like it, especially, being that she likes to cook, and shockingly, compared to the other crowd, is we enjoy each other's company. Yeah. There's so many people that either team or talk about teaming with their significant other, and they always say that they can never do it, which is always weird, because you're supposed to marry the person that you actually want to be with. And we do enjoy each other's company, so we don't want to turn into the robots where we have to run 24/7. We only see each other when we're handing over the keys and switching the logs over to the other driver. We want to kind of be a little bit slower pace and enjoy life, enjoy the job.
Yeah.
And Prime does not have a designation for super solo at all. they'll tell you that they do, or that they have a bunch of married couples that do run Super Solo, and they may be out there, but we did not have a good time trying to run as Super Solo with Prime Inc. So that was a huge point of contention for us. They allowed us to run Super Solo up until the freight started getting overbooked and they were losing out on customers and fulfilling their promise to the customers. And then everything got crunched down, and it's like, you have hours to run, why aren't you running?
And I also think that they had a hard time dealing with people who aren't desperate for money, because they always say, "Oh, but it's great money," and we're like, "Yeah, but it doesn't work for us. It doesn't matter how much it pays per mile. It doesn't matter to us because we have our money straight. We have a savings. We'll be fine. We're fine running at the slow and steady pace that we're running at." But they had a hard time. They had a hard time with that concept.
Yeah, and they would look at the amount of miles that we ran and try to help us do better, even though we were where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
There was a lot of weeks that we ran about between 3,000 and 4,000 miles, but we made as much as a lot of the other team trucks did because we would pick high revenue, low miles, which worked for us. It was great. All right, so the next point is going to kind of be a mix of a bunch of different points, but we knew going into this a lot of these points, so I kind of condensed them all together.
Yeah.
So household good miles, that's how Prime pays. So if you don't know about that, look it up. It's a mess. It's how they used to do it when routing and GPSs were not as accurate. I really hate household good miles. You lose about 10 or 15% of your revenue just due to how they map out the miles. Yeah. It's hardly ever in your favor, and if it is, it's only a few miles.
Yeah, I could basically do the household good miles conversion in my head towards the end. I'm like, well, it says it's going to be this many miles, so I know it's going to be this many miles. It was a mess.
Speed governed at 65. It sucked. But we knew that ahead of time. We knew that we were going to be the slow people. We stayed in the right lane. They claim it's for fuel economy, but we're paying 100% of the fuel.
Yeah.
So, and they had no intentions of ever bumping that speed up.
Yeah. So, that's not saying that we want to be the left lane, never get out of the left lane people, pushing the car all the way down the highway people, but it would be nice if you need to pass somebody to not have to do it at a half mile an hour.
Right.
Or when somebody is, doing whatever and they're slowing down and then you go to pass them and they magically speed up. It's frustrating. Yeah. But we spent 2.5 years doing it. So
there was times that I wanted to rip what little bit of hair I had out of my head. And then there was other times where it was just like, whatever, just get in the right lane, do your 65, and that's all you could do. We knew it ahead of time. It sucked. Towards the end, it started to suck more, but we knew it ahead of time. And like I said, that I just kind of lumped that in.
Yeah.
Also, in that point, Prime claims that you get 100% of the fuel surcharge, but what they don't tell you is if the customer does not pay what they would consider the correct amount for the fuel surcharge, they would actually take it from the line haul and they would put it onto the fuel surcharge. So you're not actually getting the full amount of money. It's either you're going to have a nice line haul and a little bit less of the fuel surcharge, or they're going to move the line haul to the fuel surcharge. And also, if they were able to negotiate a better fuel surcharge from the customer, they would move the excess fuel surcharge over to the line haul. And then the line haul gets split, of course, 72 to the operator and 28% to the company. So they would actually move the extra fuel surcharge over, and then it would get split out. So to me, that's not 100% of fuel surcharge, and it was a little deceptive. But not a lot of people pay close enough attention to their settlements to even notice. So that point may go over some people's heads, or it may be an aha moment and you'll look at your settlements and see. All right, so the last point, probably there's two issues that really drove us away from Prime. This was one of the major ones. Our fleet managers started moving our projected time of availability out. So what that did was he would move it for 2 or 3 days out past the time that we were actually going to be delivering. So that made it so the sales would not pre-plan us. And then when we would get empty, they would not plan us at all.
Yeah.
And then he would go in and move our PTA back to the time that we delivered, and then tell us to go back onto Load Choice to find a load. So that made it very difficult for us to kind of work in the Prime model. We were left to only working on Load Choice, which is heavily manipulated. They kind of load up what they want you to run, not what's best for the truck, which was the entire purpose of the actual program. Was it was supposed to pick 3 of the best loads for your truck for the area that you're in, according to the number of hours that you had on your clock, you know, a good freight area. So it would give you 3 of the best choices. So what happened towards the end was it would give you 1 or 2 choices of the loads that sales needed running. So they would typically be late already, or the time to deliver would be impossible to make,
Yeah.
or it would be just a load that nobody took because it was not a good load. And that would be, it got to the point where we would have to pick the best of the worst loads for the last 2 weeks or so. And we just did not want to continue to do that. And to us, being at a company where you have to find ways to be happy, to like work around them working against you, just wasn't a place that we wanted to stay long term. I mean, a lot of people have really good luck with Prime. There's a lot of career drivers that stay there their entire career. We were entertaining that idea for a while,
Yeah.
until the control that we had over the truck kind of got squeezed less and less. Not saying that everyone's going to have this experience. Like if you're a solo driver and you just want to burn the miles, or
If you're a team, you want to burn the
yeah,
miles.
if you're a team and you just want to burn the miles up, Prime has the freight. They will keep you running.
Yeah.
Like I said, we did not leave because of a money issue. We made very good money, and the opportunity to make really good money with as little skin in the game as they allowed was great. It was a great opportunity. And like I said, in the comments, a lot of people make it sound so easy that you can just snatch up a truck, get your authority, and away you go. You're a truck driver, you have your own authority. It's not that easy, especially right now. The truck market is so sparse. You cannot find a good truck for a good price now. And lenders are also getting to where you have to have the top tier credit for them to want to work with you, because there are only so many trucks, and they can be selective because there's so many people that need trucks, and there's only so many trucks available. So we actually went out and tried to get financing for a used truck on a dealership, and they chose not to work with us, despite the fact that Liz has amazing credit. I have probably above average. I definitely have better than the average truck driver credit, but they chose not to work with us completely.
We had a lot of money that we could have put down.
We did have a lot. They pulled up
ready
our...
to go. We didn't have that amount of cash, but we could have
Right.
put a sizable amount down.
Yeah, we could definitely fulfill what they wanted to, which would have been around 20%. Would have been no problem, but they just chose not to work with us in general. So all this to say, I believe in the last video I did say that we were going to announce who we were going to work for in this video. So I'd like to take a minute to kind of give the plan, since there are a lot of people that are following along, and there might be some people that want to leave a mega carrier and go on to something more involved, more risk, more reward, which is kind of where we're heading. So, you want to tell them?
We're finally taking the leap to Landstar.
Yep.
Which I have been looking at. I mean, I don't want to say day one at Prime, but for the longest time we've seen other people go to Landstar. I've been
Yep.
interested in it. I've been looking at it, and it's like every time that we'd say, you know, where could we go? I'd always be looking at Landstar, but we weren't quite ready to buy our own truck yet.
Right.
But we finally are. So
Yep. So Landstar is going to give us the opportunity to run on load boards with agents, brokers, third-party logistics, all of the whole gambit. There are no dispatchers, so we can run the truck exactly how we want to. We don't have to explain to anybody when we need time off or when we want to run a little bit slower. We don't have to justify it to anybody. So that was a major factor in why we went to Landstar. This is also going to give us a little bit of experience running on load boards and more experience in the industry in general. And then later on, if we want to branch out, we talked about leaving the option open if we wanted to just get our own authority and run on spot market or load boards that way as well. So for all the people saying buy a truck, get your own authority, we're working on it.
yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But
We're not going to go.
stepping stone.
We're not going to go
Nothing else.
into it thinking that we're going to completely abandon Landstar in a month or so.
Yeah.
We're going to run until either we enjoy it and we stay there for the rest of our career, or if we start noticing that we would be better off with our own authority and Landstar not taking the 35% of the line haul, then we'll branch out and run our own authority. But again, you have to take it in steps that work for you, and this works for us. I'm sure there's people out there yelling at their screens that we should just go full owner-op and authority right off the get-go, but this is going to kind of be an in-between for us to make sure it's what we want to do and that we like it, and from there we can go do whatever we want. So, you want to tell them about the truck?
What it is, we're getting another Peterbilt.
We are getting another Peterbilt.
And we actually found a brand new 2022,
Yep.
which is very exciting.
So we are purchasing our first truck.
Yeah,
It's going to be a 2022 Peterbilt,
Peterbilt
579,
Yep.
new body style.
Yeah, it doesn't have absolutely everything. It doesn't have the upgraded headlights that I might have liked, but beggars can't be choosers in this market. It has the 1800 watt inverter, which is huge for me.
Yeah.
It looks like a good truck. We know that we like a Peterbilt.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yeah,
So
I can sleep on it.
yeah,
I cannot sleep on a
our mattress
Freightliner.
can go directly back into it.
Yeah,
That,
a lot of the things that we have
really good mattress.
for the last truck are just going to go
Yeah.
straight in there, because to me it looks like they didn't change up the interior a whole lot. Obviously the dash
Yeah,
is different, the
and
cup
cup
holders, but behind the seats, like in the sleeper area, it looks pretty much identical to
Yeah.
the one that we have. So everything that we have now will kind of just go in there. It does, for those that don't know, the 1800 watt power inverter with the shore power on Peterbilts actually has house plugs behind the microwave and over where the TV would plug in, and I believe up at the top where the CPAP machines would plug in if you have them. So it instead of running like a 12 volt or an extension cord or under the bunk from the inverter out to wherever you want to
But
plug
it
in.
also has that. But you're not just
Yeah.
dealing with the two plugs on the inverter. You also have two
Yeah.
plugs on the driver and the passenger side. So it opens you up to not having to run so many splitters off of one or two cords, which
Right.
I think is
It was great.
Yeah,
we
it
didn't
was really good.
we didn't know that we needed the 1800 watt factory
Yeah.
installed inverter so bad, but
'cause
after
it's not, I mean, we don't have a place to park the truck where we
Right.
can use the shore power.
yeah, we don't have a house, we don't have a hookup for the shore power,
Yeah,
but
which might be nice.
those plugs,
Yeah.
perfect. They were
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, that way we're not having to crisscross extension cords all over the truck. It was
Yeah, it was nice. It does have the Cummins X15, so I'm excited to try that. We're
Yeah.
actually going to have some pulling power. The Packard, the MX-13 really just it was a little weak,
yeah.
but it is a 13 liter, so we're back up to a 15 liter.
And I don't think it has anything to do with the gearing that people always say Prime you know, manipulates
Well,
the gearing. Because I mean, when you're pulling up a hill,
Yeah.
you know, max power should be max power regardless. But I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is.
Prime
to what
did
Prime
gear
does.
them as over-the-road tractors, of course.
That's why
So
we kept it in manual mode the whole time.
yeah, so it's going to be a different animal. I'd like to try it out. It seems like a better motor all the way around than the
Yeah.
MX-13. It is not going to be speed governed, so
A lot of self-control.
yeah, there's going to be a little bit of self-control because we're going to be in an
Lot of
ungoverned
self-control.
truck, but I think we can handle ourselves just fine.
Yeah.
So, after all this big ramble, I just want to thank everyone that has subscribed, and our channel grew in a week to astronomical levels that I never thought we were going to get to. We have almost 84,000 views on the video about us quitting. It is a little sad that it took us quitting a mega carrier to get that kind of traction, but I mean, the people that are interested in our journey, you know, it's going to be interesting to us, and hopefully it'll be interesting to a lot of people to follow along, and maybe it might be informative for the people that want to know kind of what the next step would be if they wanted to branch off from a mega carrier and to go to purely load board.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're excited. We should pick up the truck in about a week, I believe. We're still getting through the Landstar process. We are like 95% done. And for everyone that says that Landstar is a process to get into, they are not wrong. It's taken us about 3 weeks so far.
Yeah.
They're not in any kind of hurry, but we have done well in saving our money, so it's not an issue for us. We're just getting an extended vacation.
Yeah, it's been nice.
So I think we're going to end it here. Like I said, I just want to thank everyone that's following along, everyone that watches this, all the homies on the Discord channel, the Driver Hub Discord, all the old Prime friends. Nothing's going to change other than the name on the trailer for us. Everyone can still reach out to us just the same. You know, we're not going to blow up and act like we don't know nobody. So, thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.